right, first podcast here. We'll call this Allen Athletics Presents Red Devils Advocate. I'm here, Vince DeGrotto, your host. I got my guest here, my first ever guest, Jeremy McGinnis. 8 seasons, right, at Allen Community College?
Going on 8, yep.
Going on 8, okay.
As a head coach.
Yes. I kind of did a little research. You know, the most successful and most wins on the women's side, I believe, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, we'll get started. How long have you been coaching?
Going on 20 years now. I did 5 years at high school. I did 4 years in Topeka. I did 4 years here as an assistant with Doug DeMarto here. And then I went on to Ottawa University, Midland University, and then came back and did another 8 as a head coach here. So definitely holds a place in my heart. It's where I met my wife. She played softball here when I played soccer here. So definitely something about Allen just brings you back and draws you back. So
I know. I took that 4-year hiatus over to the other college in our conference, and then it was something about it. I know for me, you always you saw the benefits of this place. And like, man, if I know what I know now, what could I do with the knowledge I had? And when it opened back up, kind of got back into it and brought me back to. Did you always want to coach?
Yes, that's probably what I want to do. In fact, I ran into somebody in high school, and they were like, "Man, you're living your dream." I really didn't want to do anything else. I just know I wanted to have soccer in my life. I actually, when I was coaching in high school, I just was a para and a substitute teacher, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to teach, and I realized the only thing I wanted to teach was soccer. So that's why as soon as this job or this opportunity opened up, I jumped right on top of it, and it's ever been coaching ever since.
Now, as you've coached 2 year and 4 year. I saw you had you spent 1 or 2 years with Midland, and then you had
I had 1 year with Ottawa, and then 1 year with Midland.
You guys won the conference championship at Ottawa, correct?
Yeah, we were undefeated. I got a sweet little man ring. It was kind of nice to go up to people and shake their hand really slowly, let the ring hit the sun, and introduce myself there. I really enjoyed working with Bob Casper. That's now at the University of Wyoming, and also Mark Gordon, that's now at Northwestern as well. And met some good relationships there. Got to see that kind of side of things, and definitely saw how, especially like with there at NAIA, and not only with Ottawa but with Midland, I found that like we're more of a family here at Allen. Everyone kind of went their own separate ways after, it was like every sport for themselves kind of, and you really didn't see people that much. They really kept to themselves, and after it was all said and done, they went on their separate ways during the day. Where I find we're really like more of a family where we hang out and look out for each other and watch out, and we see each other quite more often and things of that nature.
You're almost forced to be around each other all the time too, because it's a small environment.
No doubt about that. I always call Iola like Cheers. Sometimes you want to go, everyone knows your name. For those older viewers out there that know what Cheers is.
Oh yeah, they'd. I don't know if it's on Netflix or the YouTube or the other platforms, but yeah, Cheers. That's back in the day. Now, do you have a preference in genders? Have you? Because you've touched on both of them, and right now you're the head women's.
Yes.
So you've coached both sides of the coin.
So I really enjoy coaching both, and one thing that I've always liked to consider myself is like whether it be genders or age group, I want to be able to coach any of those. Sometimes over summertime, I do camps with 9 and 10-year-old groups, and I really enjoy kind of getting back to the basics and doing a lot of the little more fun games with that. But I also like doing the high tactical stuff with the older group and players that play at a very high level, and I enjoy kind of going back and forth to that. And it's the same thing gender to gender. I find that men are definitely more, I say women are problem solvers. If you throw out a ball to a bunch of women and you say, or 2 touch max, 5 pass in a row is a point, ready, go. They won't waste one piece of energy until they know. Someone will raise their hand and they'll go, so wait a minute, you said 2 touch max, now 5 passes in a row, and then it's a point. And where guys, you do the same thing, all right? And throw the ball out, and they'll start pinging the ball around before you even explain anything. And you're like, 2 touch max, 5. And they're like, what? Do what? And they're just running around as fast as they can. So I find that that's definitely the difference between the two. Women are more problem solvers for sure.
From afar, I've always enjoyed, I always watch the coaches, and I'm here, so I see all the coaches coach. the analytics and how articulate you are with your directions. I've always liked that about your coaching style, because I mean it can be confusing for the young generation because but if you, I don't think you're so specific on what you want and how you want it. I like the fact that you're teaching it and you'll show it and you'll stop and correct it until you get it right.
Right.
Especially at this level.
Yeah. So I had a coach that had a great saying. We actually had T-shirts that are warm-up shirts. And then on the back of the shirt was our saying that he used, that trifles make perfection, but perfection's no trifle. It's the little things that make perfection, but perfection's not a little thing. And I love that, and I used that for years. And I actually just got in contact with him because he coaches in California, and he does a lot of some DA stuff with the USA national team and things of that nature. And I was like, dude, I love that saying, by the way. I use it all the time. And he goes, it's funny you use that because I got it from a commercial for a pizza spot. They talked about their cheese. And I was like, this whole time I've been like using this great saying that we had that you got from a pizza cheese commercial, but it works. So
nice. All right, so NJAA's changing. And when I say changing, they're going to different divisions. Now,
Yes.
Cross country, I'm a cross country coach. It's going to affect big time. I know soccer was as well. And I know with men's soccer, Doug has to deal with the age of the international student athletes. On the women's side, because I know women's soccer in the U.S. is I would assume it's king, right?
Right.
Or queen, per se.
Yeah, per se.
Yeah. Do you deal with the same age issues that the men's soccer has to deal with on the women's side?
I really don't, and it's just now beginning, at least around in our region, it's becoming more of international on our women's side. Now, when I say that, I say it very heavily. Yeah. It used to be where they would sprinkle in here and there. I always had like an Australian or two on my team every year. But now you are finding that teams are, and this has been going on quite some time on the men's side, but teams are fully international. Yeah, and I love the mixture, because I am from around the area, around the region. I've coached in the region for quite some time. So I'll always grab a lot of my players from the area around here. But I am adding more and more the international side, just because of it's the different way of recruiting as well. You can watch a lot of video, and they're not over recruited as much as I believe the region, and especially Kansas kids are a bit over recruited with all the universities and colleges and Division I, Division II, Division III, and NAIAs that we have around the area.
Now with the split divisions, you guys gonna be Division II, correct?
Correct.
How is that? Because I know on the cross country side, it's gonna be huge for us, just because of we're all on a level playing field now, whereas before it was an arms race. I know with soccer, the men's soccer for sure is going to be very similar to how we are. On the women's side, is it going to be similar? Or
I think it's going to be very similar, and I think part of it is that some of the schools they haven't did not declare. They're still on the border. They decided to stay Division I. And the other side is that I feel like we've always been kind of a Division II model here. And it's been that way for quite some time, but we've always been playing at a Division I level. Yeah. And even with our area, I find that, I know some other coaches that their, recruiting budget is, to give out scholarships anyways, it's twice as much as mine. And I'm recruiting against them with that much money. Yeah. So that's made it a little bit difficult. But, so one of my buddies says that a lot of people are coming to Iola to play for me just because of my sweet personality. But at the same time, it's nice to kind of, that's definitely bringing to the mix for sure. But it's nice to be on a little bit more of an even level for sure.
You want it to be about the coaching and technique and not about who can purchase more per se. That's how I've always felt too about that. And I know with soccer and in running, like soccer, so you got your formations, you have the philosophy. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy.
So my philosophy is that I try to use the vehicle of sport to teach kids not only life lessons, but also to build relationships and character. We do a lot of team bonding activities. We bring in players on a regular basis to talk about what we're expecting of them. And obviously, hopefully that they kind of see what they need to work on as well. And then obviously, there's different styles of play of the four. My favorite is the 4-3-3 or 4-5-1 hybrid, but that is it kind of varies because when we attack it's a 4-3-3, but when we defend it's a 4-5-1. Defend was a 4-5-1. But and that's nice about college. You can recruit the players you want for your formation that you're keen on playing. But I'm not afraid to play, and I have switched to other formations due to the fact that injuries or players that you expect to play a certain role are just not playing at that role, and that's not them. And it's tough for them to get out of their comfort zone, so you have to switch and adapt. And I'm all about adapting, because my big thing is, even though I'm keen on those two formations, I find myself also saying, well, what players do I have to work with? And that's a big thing.
For sure. I know, especially with myself, I'm more individualized with my coaching philosophy, just because men and women run different distance. Do you find yourself, when you coached men, do you have a different philosophy for men and women in terms of your formations, your strategy, or is it based off of your clientele or your team?
I find that men will be a little more open to play any position. Like, I had a guy one time that we were, when I was assistant for the men's side, we were bringing in all these forwards, and they were big time forwards, and they're doing very well. And he was very worried, even though he was a first team all conference player. He was worried. He's like, you guys are bringing in a lot of forwards. He goes, I just want you to know I can play any position, but goalkeeper. I just want to be on the field when the whistle blows. And where it's a little different with women, where they it's tough to get out of their comfort zone and playing, especially when they play a certain position. They want to stick to that. And I had one girl that, like, I played her at right back, and I wanted to play her at left back, but she didn't want to play left back because she thought I was setting her up for failure because she wasn't strong left-footed. And I'm like, well, you can still play that position and that role. It's just on the other side of the field. So that's something that we asked them to get a little bit out of their comfort zone. And then when I even coach and I do these camps with these youth players, I say the biggest thing you can do is you can definitely be more a versatile player and play more than one position, because a lot of different positions have a lot of similar characteristics, and they have to open their eyes to that.
For sure. All right, so obviously if you've been living in a hole, this whole coronavirus thing has kind of made a huge impact on us, especially at an institution in a community. I noticed we finally got one, but that was an out-of-stater that it shouldn't have accounted.
Yes.
I still feel like we're undefeated. I feel like
we
still
definitely are.
Still undefeated.
Because not only are they, we had one, but they still reside in another state.
Yeah, they shouldn't count against us.
Not at all.
It's not our scoreboard.
Well, what I want to know is if that state's counting them as well. Yeah.
Hey, we need to fact check this. I like having that goose egg, because I've told people, hey,
It's
we're
a
corona
total
free.
goose egg.
We're corona free. But no, your soccer season was over. Obviously, the main season in the fall, so you had already had it. However, you guys are active in the spring all the time. Pretty serious in the spring, and your spring season, training got cut short, kind of like everyone else's season. How that affect you?
It really affected me on a lot of different levels. One, it affected my players, because we were just getting into our about to get to the outside, playing outside. We got one tournament in, or a little round robin, if you will, in Fort Hays. So that was kind of nice. We played in their indoor facility there at the end of February. But we were looking forward to kind of getting outside and really opening things up, if you will, because you kind of get in the activities building here, it's really congested, and it's really great for speed of play. But we definitely want to look to get outside and start to get more shots on goal and do some more things in the attacking side, for sure. We do a lot of technical work inside during the wintertime, but then be able to get outside is a big step, because that's where we play our game. So that kind of took a big hole in it, for sure, and stepped us back a little bit. But what I find is that instead of, like, you always try to find solutions and make adjustments. And what we've been doing is sending out solo sessions to our players twice a week, where we break down the game physically, mentally, technically, and tactically, and we give them different things underneath those, like little tidbits, or mainly like maybe YouTube videos, shots of things that they can work on, little clips, so they can click on that and they can kind of see what maybe a training thing that they need to do, or a physical aspect that we're asking them to do, as far as running, working out, or getting any speed and agility in. So we've been doing that, and I found that has been something that, even after all this is said and done, along with Zooming, like everyone else is doing, it's like the big thing.
I wish I would invest in Zoom stock.
Oh man, we make a lot of money.
That and plexiglass.
Yes. Yes. for sure. And hand sanitizer.
Yes, hand sanitizer. Toilet paper at one point. I never understood the whole toilet paper thing because I felt like
I never got it either.
if it runs out, like I'm not above using the restroom outside if I had to.
Right.
I'm not above that.
Well, my big thing, I think it was, is like, what was the last pandemic that everyone was worried about? The H1N1 and
H1N1, I believe.
H1N1, with that part of that was having to go to the bathroom. So maybe everyone thought that this was going to be similar, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, it was insane. That first session was I had to take some people to the airport that first like week it was going on, and I had to go to Target for I forget something arbitrary I probably didn't need, but I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I would feel like Mission Impossible in the aisles. I was just like ducking out, seeing someone and dipping off just because I didn't know what was happening and I didn't know who was
I've heard
affected.
when they brought in a whole new batch that a Walmart worker would stand by it and make sure that anyone, you can only get one because people were just grabbing the whole basket full. It was just ridiculous.
It was that I never understood that one, and I'm like, well, what about the essential things you really need?
Right.
You know,
Water.
That's pretty important because I feel like toilet paper is something, worst case scenario.
You use an old T-shirt.
Go outside.
You got a box full of those socks that you can't find the other one for the match.
Exactly. There you go. Problem solved.
Cut that thing in half. You got a couple. We actually did a little fun joke or whatever on Snapchat with my players. We juggled a toilet paper roll, and each one of us in the video would kick it to like the left, so then the other person would get it. And it would be like a little, domino effect of getting. So me and my assistant and all my players did that, and we did a little Snapchat, and it was pretty funny.
You should
made a little video of it.
Put it out there. So I saw some of those TikToks where they like throw their shoe and the person would catch it.
We did it with juggling toilet paper. I think I got 5 or 6 in, and then I had to get rid of it out of the video. Okay,
so when it first came down it was right around spring break. And they're telling everybody they got to leave and whatnot. I was telling everyone how it felt like summer because when everyone leaves.
Yes.
And it was weird because you'd go to the campus and it would just feel like it was because in summer it gets real desolate and really
ghost town.
For sure, which is nice. But it felt so weird being in March.
Yes. It was way too early for it.
Way too early. And I was trying not to get myself into summer mode. Because in summer mode, like, all right, what kind of projects at college I need to get done? What kind of inventorying? What kind of... No, I got to recruit still. We still got to, are they coming back or they're not coming back? So that was weird for a while. And then you had, you had to go home and stay home. And it's like, all right, what do I do? Right. Did you... Now, you have a child. You and your wife have one child. It's your first. Yeah. How old is she?
She's 5. Her name's Riley. She's my little buddy. If I could put her in my pocket and carry wherever I go, I see her. You see her up here working out with me.
Oh yeah.
She'll jump in on the weights, but then she's hiding one of her little babies or something out in the activities building somewhere, and we're playing hide and go seek. But it found that we had a pretty good day as far as balancing her morning time with my wife while my wife works. My wife completely works from home. And then she was doing her schoolwork and stuff then for preschool. So you had the
schoolwork.
She had preschool work because she'll be a kindergartner even though she's 5. She just turned 5. Well, last October, not just turned 5. But she'll be coming back around. So next year this coming fall, she'll be going into kindergarten, which should be quite interesting to see how that goes. But needless to say, I was able to come up here for 4 or 5 hours, do some work, and then head home. And I was pretty much the PE teacher, and I kept her active in the afternoon and kind of took her out.
I got this packet because we're second grade, and we got this packet. And I looked at this packet, and it came out to be like 4 or 5 sheets a day. And they're like, well, just try to spend an hour, doing the stuff. And I'm looking like this. When you hand me a packet with the sheets, I want to get all of it done. Right. Because I'm like, you hand it to me, I got to get all of it done. Right. And they're just telling me an hour a day.
It out.
So a couple of times we skipped a few days. And there's sometimes my son and I would play some games, or then our PE day would go to Lehigh Trails and throw rocks at random stuff. But I felt like I burnt myself out within about 48 hours because the first day was like, all right, 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, 30 minutes on, and then I got to the point I was like, man, I don't want to be a second grade teacher.
No.
And I'm like, and you'd hear them kind of, I don't want to say complain, but you'd see some Facebook things from the Iola about not completing their work. I'm like, all right, give me a stipend.
Right.
You want to pay me give me a little,
we're doing our best here.
Yeah. You're getting what you're paid for.
Right.
Like, I'm going to give me a stipend, a little stay at home school stipend. I'll be more than willing to put a desk out here and study session, but
No, I found that when my wife was really good at doing that stuff and keep her, they had like a little calendar and keep her on task. I find that my wife is like, in our family, she's the one that lays down the tracks and keeps us going the right way, and I'm the engine that just keeps us pumping and keeps things going. I'm the engine for the train, if you will. So she does a really good job of keeping us organized and sorted out. So I was lucky to have that with her.
Yeah, my wife, I was like, I got this, Martha. You work. And then 2 days into it, I was like,
yeah,
I don't got this. I don't got this. It was too late though. So a lot of days we like skip a few days, and then I found a routine, and then me teaching him math, it was so frustrating because I was teaching him subtraction, numbers where you have to pull from one side and the other, and he'd get it down and then he'd forget it, and I'm like, and then I showed him how to do it on the iPad with the calculator, and then I know a couple times he was doing it. When the complaints came out, I'm not gonna lie, and I hope he doesn't get in trouble for this. I would take some of his sheets with my left hand, and I'd be writing the answers in with my left hand. I'm like, I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy.
Right.
So we get these sheets completed. Yeah. So if I do it with my right hand, it looked like it was me, but if my left hand, it looked like it was a kid doing it. So
when we had to do some of Riley's stuff, I would hold on to her hand, and she would write it. So I'm like, hey. She's writing it. I'm not doing it. When she's practicing her letters and trying to make sure that she can sort that out as far as little I, big I, and all that. And then she'd always like, my teacher doesn't do it this way. And I was like, well, your teacher ain't here right now, are they?
Yeah,
this is how we're doing it.
It was rough. Now, I laugh at this because when you have your first child, our big thing was names. Did you have who picked the name? How'd that work?
So when we found out we were pregnant.
You guys were both were, yeah.
Yeah, we were both pregnant at the same time.
You actually gain weight. When men don't realize this, there's pregnant weight. Men put it on. You don't realize it, but when you go get snacks for your wife, you get a snack for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And it hits you before you realize you're just like,
oh, yeah, what's going on here?
What's going on? I didn't know this was going to happen.
I ended up running a lot after. Well, I ran with Riley a lot the first week. She was back. Got her
out there. Yeah, that was big time.
So I'm pushing her like she was like 5 days old, and I'm pushing her in that thing, and I put like blankets around her and everything, and Jess okayed it. But then when I got home, I got chewed out because she was like, her neck is not strong enough for you to be running around. And I'm like, she's got blankets all around her. I'm like, we're good. And like, I'm sorting this out. It'll be all right.
She didn't say anything. She didn't complain.
She's good. Like she was sleeping the whole time, so it must not have been too bad. But no, we found. So Jess told me on Valentine's Day that she and I did like a bro or something. She told me she gave me the gift. It was the pea stick, and she gave it to me. And I looked at it, I was like, we never got like pea for a gift before. Like, pea stick for a gift. And I looked at it, and I was just like, I punched her in the arm. I was like, no way. Yes. Sorted it out. So I was really excited because I've always wanted to be a dad, and we found out. So we decided that if it was a boy, I get to name the boy. If it's a girl, I get to name. Then Jess did. And so Jess had Riley picked out for a while, and then she did Riley Catherine as her grandma's name was Catherine. So she did Riley Catherine, and we call her Riley Cat or Smiley Riley, something like that. We always like to mix that up a little bit. I call her Buddy all the time. She's like my buddy, so I was like, hey, buddy, and I always call her Buddy. She's been spending way too much time with me because I found out the other day, I go to the bathroom and I come back and she pulled out a big guy. She goes, how'd it go there, big guy? I'm like, you're 5 years old. Where are you coming up with this? Well, I was like, fair enough. I am kind of a big guy. So
I've gotten in some trouble because of him. One of his first profanity words at school, and the context of which he used it in, it was a famous four-letter word that I sometimes dish out here and there. But the context of which he used it was correct. Yeah. And it wasn't at any individual. It was just a mistake where he said it. And back in my mind, I was like,
fair enough.
Let's look at this in a grammar state of mind. But
when they're young enough, I think it's kind of cute too.
A little bit, right? You know, right? And we play Mortal Kombat. We've been playing Mortal Kombat 11 a lot. And GTA with the sound off. Yeah. I turned the sound off so he doesn't hear any of the words. Yeah. We cruise around, but it's fun having like a little mini me around.
Yes.
When we came up with the name, when I found out it was a boy, I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of
yeah.
Just because, and I would have been happy with whatever, no matter what.
As long as they're healthy.
Yeah, that's
what Jess said when we found out it was a girl. Jess looked at me and she goes, "You have 30 seconds to get over it." And I go, "I'm good, baby."
Yeah.
As long as healthy, 5 fingers, 5 toes. All he needs is love after that.
Exactly. And it was one of those things. Like I was happy with whatever, and we had lost one before, a couple years before. But when I found out as a boy, it was a little bit of fist pump. Yeah. But I would have been happy when we was thinking of names, and the tradition was to name it after myself and add a 4 to it. But I decided, we wanted to name it after my her father, my father-in-law. Cool. So the middle name was Edward. And when we were talking about it, I was like, Blaine Edward DeGrotto. I was like, that spells bed, right? And we kind of laughed at it. And we were thinking of names. We're like, all right,
nice.
If we can't make fun of the name, then it's a good one, because we gotta prepare our kids, because kids are mean. Kids are gonna make fun of your names. And we felt like Blaine Edward DeGrotto. I was like, no one's gonna make fun of him. He's good. It's a good name. It's Blaine. And this year he comes home upset. And I'm like, someone made fun of his name, and it wasn't what I thought. I was like, well, what's wrong with Blaine? No, Dad, they call me Dorito instead of Grotto. And I'm like, what was it? Red, blue? Which one was it? Like that's a compliment,
right?
But he was like, no,
nacho Doritos.
Yeah, like the Doritos are the greatest.
You gotta own it.
Yeah, I was like, own that.
That's what I've been telling my daughter.
Forget about the blue Doritos. I'm red all day.
That's what I'm telling my daughter. I give her a hard time about stuff, and I'm like, if you having a hard time with this, then you're gonna have a long, hard life. I'm like, the best thing you can do is just own it.
Yes. Yeah. The quicker you own it, and it's hard for them at their age, but the quicker you own it and laugh at yourself, you've taken away their ability to make fun of you.
Yes.
I was like flipping on them.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I'm nacho cheese, baby. Spicy nacho, that sweet chili Doritos, the new flavor. I'm Dorito all day.
I told I love Anchorman, and I told, or not Anchorman, it's Step Brothers.
Oh yeah.
You smell like beef and cheese, and you sit on. Oh no, that's not. That's Elf. You smell like beef and cheese, and you sit on Throne of Lies. So Riley says that to kids every once in a while. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a call one of these days about that one.
I got in trouble because he's got a phone now. We got him a phone number, not a phone, but on my iPad. We got him a number so he can text us. And he had seen me do BAMF, and he goes, "What's that stand for, Dad?" And I was like, "Don't tell Mom." But this is inappropriate. Don't say it. It's kind of a short term for this. But you're not. Don't repeat that.
Right.
We sent me. I showed him that we ordered the new Mortal Kombat 11 came out with the new combat pack with new characters and everything. Yeah, it was really cool. And I sent that to him, and he goes, "Man, that's BAMF." Texted back to me. I was like,
right.
I was like,
get a little choked up.
Just like my son, but I was like, "Don't tell Mom. I'll get in trouble." So that's been fun. Speaking of movies, the movie always cracks me up. Wedding Crashers. There's a scene in Wedding Crashers at the dinner table when Christopher Walken goes, "Jeremy, I seen you at the dance floors."
Yeah, he got nice moves.
Every time I think of you and the spaghetti legs and all the different dances, I think of that. Every time I heard that line.
I love it when he's knocking like his buddy. Yeah, he's like knocking him on the knee, like, "See, I told you."
Yeah.
Told you got the move.
That scene always makes me laugh because he says that. Let me think of this.
Good times.
All right.
Those moves still catch up with me. I go to the K-State residential camp and do their camp every year. Unfortunately, this summer is going to be canceled because of the pandemic and everything. But and I love going to that camp. But they always say the only way you're coming back, McGinnis, if you sing La Bamba again. So every summer I have to sing La Bamba.
I got something for you. What kind of music would you consider your go-to these days?
Go-to? It's now. So you see the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Best soundtrack ever.
Amazing.
So I pretty much have all the songs off of that. And Riley, my daughter, she loves it. So we watch the movie over and over again, and we listen to the songs, and my daughter can name off like half the songs. Like she'll go Redbone, Come and Get Your Love. Like she knows them all. She does what is it? Ray and the Americans, Come a Little Bit Closer. Yeah. Love that song. We
on Saturdays, our thing is on Saturdays we'll walk to Casey's because we don't live too far from Casey's, and I'll have the speaker, and he's now gotten to Rick Rolled. Yeah, Rick Isley.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So we're blaring Never Gonna Give It Up. Yeah. He's doing his little Fortnite dances down. So we walked. Our thing is to walk to Casey's, get some snacks, and walk back. So it's kind of cool now to be. It gives us a reason to be immature, and to live. I can live vicariously through him immaturely.
Yes, I do it all the time with Riley. I taught her 6 dad jokes, and they're hilarious. Like when I say them and they're like, hey, but when you see a little 5-year-old say these jokes, it's hilarious, especially when she just nails them. She's got some really good ones in there.
All right, well, this brings me up. I got a hypothetical question for you. I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
The world's fate rests on you and your mic skills. You have one chance to save all of us, humanity. No big deal. You have to sing us a song, basically karaoke. What song are you going with and why? Which you kind of already said. I kind of already feel like.
Right. It'd probably would be La Bamba.
Oh, yeah.
I just think so because it's just it's so uplifting. There's definitely parts in there that you can do. There's a little riff in there where they do the you get that in there and a little bit of and then the dance moves and all that.
You can't.
So you can definitely get in there with your good stuff.
Oh yeah. I feel like because I always consider myself a below average karaoke singer. So you gotta pick something that gets the people moving. And my go-to would probably be Sweet Caroline, just because I can fake it. So
I think a big part of it too is not that you can, because I'm not saying I can sing. I'm saying that I can entertain.
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of it.
Huge.
So I won a karaoke contest once, and everybody in it sang so much better than me. But they stood there, they stared at the screen, and they just hold the mic, and they had beautiful voices. But me, I didn't look at the screen because I knew all the words, and I went around in the tables, and I was giving high fives and pointing up to the cheap seats, even though nobody was up there,
Metaphorically, they're there.
Right. In my head, they were. So I had fun with it, and I was just letting loose, and I guess that's how I won. Now, the people that were singing, they were pretty upset because they had great voices, but I felt like I worked the crowd a little bit better.
Karaoke, like if you're wanting to be you can't go in there thinking that I'm a great singer, because nobody. What I found out with karaoke, if you're a great singer and you're up there, you're showing off, you're going to lose the crowd.
Yes.
If you can sing and entertain,
yes.
Perfect. You need to stop karaoke.
Package.
You need to go
American
try
Idol.
Yes, go
American
try
Idol's calling for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you can somewhat hold a tune, you want to be entertained.
Yes.
Especially when you have carbonated drinks that are probably flowing a little more and above 21
for sure.
environment. But yeah, karaoke I've always laughed.
I think it's impressive too, and I find that I like the singers that don't have to look at the words.
Oh,
if you don't have to stand there and stare at the deal, you just you can turn that thing off. I got this. I know all the words. I'm ready to roll. And that's why I think a lot of people are impressed with the La Bamba, because that's a bunch of words that are pretty tough. But you sing it over and over again. I watched the movie when I was a kid, so it was one of those movies that was on all the time on HBO. So I watched it over and over again. You pick up all the words after a while, for sure.
Well, that's all I've got today. I appreciate this. First ever one. It's been good. Yeah. And thanks again.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time, and hope this starts a wave and starts kicking off. I'd love to come back sometime and keep shooting me some more questions.
I will. Will do. Thank you.
You're supposed to ask me one of my dad jokes.
What's a dad joke?
Okay.
We probably should have a dad off one of these days. Next week, maybe have a dad joke off. Just sit here and...
So, what... why couldn't the toilet paper cross the road?
What's that?
It got stuck in the crack.
Nice.
Now, my daughter's the favorite one my daughter does is, why does Snoop Dogg always carry an umbrella?
What's that?
And it's a lot cooler when she does it. She does the 3 fingers up, and she'll go, "For drizzle."
My son has one. He goes, "What do you call a magic owl?"
What's that?
Houdini.
Nice.
He was saying that when he was about 4 or 5, and I was like, "That's gonna pull one of these days, son.
Right?
That's gonna pull."
No, Riley gets it. Like sometimes people won't get it. She won't get a great reaction out of them. And this is one of the things I taught her too. Is like, hey man, you can't win them all. So she'll go up, can't win them all. Tough crowd, Dad.
I would say they can't be winners, son. And he's starting to say that now. That some of his mannerisms, I'm like, oh boy, son, you need to be careful. You're gonna get me in trouble. Some things you say.
I think I'm gonna get a phone call one of these times.
You're probably gonna get many phone calls.
That's all right. I'm ready.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things. You just
can't be anywhere with you because everyone else is taken. Well, thanks for having me.
No problem.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Yep.